Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? It is Saturday morning. It is the 30th of April. There are only 30 days in April, so that means tomorrow is the start of May. I have no showing scheduled today. It's a Saturday. What is going on? Not good. So, as I should do more often, I should check the chat and, ask how you're doing. How are you doing, chat? Even when there's no one there. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me, but I'm just following the YouTube rules. So yeah, Saturday morning, I don't have any showings today. I'm going to work in the office until about noon, and then I think I'm going to cut out. Very unusual to not work on Saturdays. I mean, by not work, I mean only work until about noon. So, and the strange thing now is some of the stuff I'm seeing on my chat at all is I have it all messed up again. But here's what our goal is today, okay? Our goal for our live stream today is to not have it crash in the middle. That was bad yesterday. I don't know if any of you watched it from last night, but it was just a disaster. Again, I don't know what happened. It was just like I was just minding my own business, doing my show. I was in the middle of talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and it was just all of a sudden everything was gone. So that was bad. Being, not being good. And then I don't know. Now I'm off my flow because we have squeaky floor child upstairs. I mean, we just can't win. So anyway, I don't know about this now. I don't like what my stats are doing, but terrible start to the show this morning. Because I don't really have this anchoring piece of content to really just go forward. So what we're going to do is let's talk about what we're planning on doing for the show today. I have my notes. We're going to talk about showing that I had last night that was terrible. We're going to talk about some Google Trends. We're going to talk about the sellers report for the spring, and then people are relocating all across the United States, but why? Why are people leaving? That's my question. Why? So we'll talk about that. I screwed something up and it makes me irritated. That's about the best I can do. So I kind of feel like news-wise, we're in the same, like everything's kind of the same right now. We've got the highlight is the Elon Musk Twitter purchase. Then I think that we've got Russia, we've got high gas prices, we've got Joe Biden presidency is fascinating. I guess is the best word I can say. Most charitable. Inflation just raging on. The Fed really, they're going to come to the rescue by crushing the market. It's just a strange time. But it's also, I mean, like we're going into May, so there's going to be graduations. Kids are going to go to college. They're going to choose their colleges if they haven't already. So it's just, I don't know. You'd think that the normal spring buying season would be on us, and I feel like right now it's like if you're committed to the market. You're overbidding, you're going above asking on every single house. I feel like that's the normal setup, but I don't know that we have to really like the new normal. I don't know why we can't just hope that houses appraise. I mean, it seems reasonable to me. So maybe that's what's coming. I think my most dedicated buyers this weekend have just gotten tired of the search. And, I burped. As an agent, what are you going to do? Right? I mean, if people want to look at houses for the weekend, don't force them. And you know, I've been showing houses for weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend. It's okay if I take a break this weekend. I don't have to show houses all the time. I'm getting kind of tired of it myself. You know, you go to a house and there's some that are just fantastic and then others that are terrible. And the ones that are fantastic, there's going to be a lot of offers. And so, whatever. Let's get into my showing from last night. All right. So we're going to go over kind of a long stretch here, but I would love your opinion on what I should have done differently, if I should have done anything differently. So I have these really good friends, known them for years, like them, and they've been looking for a house for a long time. When it was a good time to look for a house, it wasn't a good time for them. It wasn't good. It got good when it was good to, you know, for everybody else. And so we've been looking at houses maybe for almost a year now, and not seriously. Sometimes it you know, would get really serious. We would really be on the ball. And then other times it would kind of drift off because, you know, they have kids and stuff would, you know, it would just, there was no, I don't know how to say it. No rhythm, basically. We got out of rhythm. So anyway, last night was the actual showing, but earlier in the week, I'd say about Monday or Tuesday, the house came up as coming soon. And so immediately I got the email, hey, can we go see this house? I said, sure. Let me pull the disclosures. And when I pulled the disclosures, there was a significant amount of basement issues that I read on the disclosure. And the listing agent, to kind of assuage fears of the basement, had a engineering report produced for the issue. So that was there. So it wasn't a surprise that there were basement issues or that there had been basement issues. So when I sent the disclosure over, I said they're basement issues. And I wasn't much more specific other than that, other than it's something that we'll really need to look at when we're there if the walls aren't covered. So that was fine. So I don't know where it got lost in the translation, but there was a significant amount of excitement for this house. Now, this house was priced probably $50,000 lower than what a comparable house in the zip code would go for. So like, I kind of knew what I was getting into. I mean, now what's going to happen in this market is people are going to see that that's a bargain, which I think is what my buyers originally saw. And they're going to come at that one hard, and it's going to end up going for more than what it would if they just priced it right. So that's a pricing strategy that the listing agents are using. That's not wrong, because it is an impaired property. There's no question, but it's been disclosed. But anyway, we go to the house, and first floor is beautiful. And I said, do you want to go to the basement first, or do you want to just look around? And they said, well, let's go outside. So when we went outside, there was a sewer, like a big old storm sewer, stuck in the bottom. And if you like, just these people, they've already got a storm sewer in the back of their own house, which has flooded their basement once before. So that's automatically a no. Now, I don't fault the listing agent for not mentioning that there's a storm sewer in the backyard. That's not their fault. How are they going to know that my buyers are very sensitive to that? Okay, they're not. So that's not an issue. And I'm not going to fault the listing agent for the basement disclosures. I thought the basement disclosures were wonderful. Okay, there's no issues there for me with the way that the listing agents have presented this property. Now, it was kind of a mess to my buyers. It was a big deal. First of all, with the storm sewer in the back, that was pretty much a no. It automatically was a no. So now we could leave at any point in time. But then we did go to the basement. And when we got to the basement, sure enough, all kinds of cracks, epoxy filled. They put in a drain, sump pump. They put in big pieces of steel to hold the wall in place, but it was still bowing. And it was a huge house with a huge unfinished basement, and it was never going to get finished. And so my buyers were crushed. And I was like, why? Why are you crushed? We talked about this. I sent you this information that said that the basement was a mess. And I mean, just based on the landscape, it was a house that was not on it was on the bottom of a hill. I mean, we're talking about 20, 30 foot elevation to the next house. I mean, it was really at the bottom of a hill. Shouldn't be surprised that the basement was terrible. But I don't know if they didn't listen to me, or they didn't believe it, or they wanted to believe. And so after that, I said, let's look at the rest of the house. And then, so they're crushed, right? They're just disappointed in everything. And I said, look, we've not been in this subdivision before. Let's take a look at the other rooms. Let's take a look at the upstairs and see how the floor plan, see how it kind of shakes out, so that we can, if there's another house in the neighborhood that goes that goes up for sale, we have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Not every house has basement issues in a subdivision. Okay. For the most part. Can it happen? Yes. But for the most part, I don't see, sometimes it's like one house is great and one house isn't. And with basement issues, I think of it like this. Now, someone could have gotten their basement fixed, quote unquote. Okay. Their foundation fixed, and there could be a lifetime warranty on the work. Okay. But I'd much rather go to a house that doesn't need any repairs in the basement, that looks fine, than to deal with warranty companies over the years, to deal with the fear that something could happen with the basement going forward, and then I'd be responsible for it. And basement repairs typically aren't cheap. And we're looking at like $20,000 to fix the basement. If they have to start digging, it could be up to $50,000 or more. It's not an issue that you want to deal with. And so I'm always, for my buyers, I'm always on the side of, hey, this is a nice house and everything, but why do we need to deal with this particular issue when there's other houses out there that aren't? Now, you say, well, John, every house could have basement issues. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You could be living in a home that was built in the 50s, and all of a sudden you have a basement issue that just showed up. Okay. So absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm just trying to play the odds. If I have a house that I see has got a terrible foundation, all cracked in all different ways, they've used all kinds of mitigation techniques. And some of these mitigation techniques are absolutely gross. Like, one is like you put a mat over the whole wall so that when it leaks, it just leaks the water into the ground. Like, that's just giving up. Plus, now you can't see the wall. So when it's cracking and everything else, you don't know that it's doing it. So that's like giving up. Then there's these Kevlar patches that people put on walls. And then those Kevlar patches break over time. I've seen them rip right apart. There's piering. This house had steel angle iron on every single floor joist. I don't know why, because it seems like I was watching the wall. The wall is bowed in. But anyway, getting back to it, the issue was one of the buyers was like, I'll buy it with all this mess. And then he's like, at a discount. I'm already like, hey, we're at a discount already at significantly less than what it should go for. And we all know that it's not. And so his point was he would write an offer on it for a discount, but he really was, it was very strange. It was like, I'm agreeing to do this, but I know it's not going to happen, so I'm not. Because he knew that it's going to go way over. The house, we got there at about 5. The first showing started yesterday at 9. There were like, I'd say 25 showings in that short of time. The house is going under contract. And then the wife was like, John, why didn't you, when you said basement issues, I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. And it's like, why didn't you tell us? And here's the thing. I told them. And it was just kind of a miscommunication in the sense that I can't, when I don't see the basement for myself ahead of time, two things happen. One, if the house has a finished basement and the repairs are behind the walls, I don't see it. So I don't know. And the second thing is, even when you say that you have basement issues, what does that mean? Is it one crack? Who doesn't have at least one crack in the basement? Over the years, it's just one of those things that kind of happens. I had reasons to believe that it was going to be a pretty severe issue because of the work, the work that was presented online before we went and the price. I mean, that seemed obvious to me. But anyway, they're like, well, we're sorry we wasted your time. And I'm like, didn't waste my time. How else were we going to know that this house was a no unless we went to go see it? And that's my job. And that's what I have trouble trying to convey to my clients. I go to houses all the time that aren't winners. Okay. We don't get the, we're not going to put an offer on the house. It's not going to be the one. This happens all the time. My buyers unfortunately think that every house they go to is going to be the one. This is significantly different than what is real for me. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no way. Why do people think that when you go look at houses to buy, that it's going to be perfect every time, that every single house you look at is going to be the right house for you? It's not the right house for you. It's not. If it were that easy, it's never going to be that way. That's why you go with your agent and you go look at a bunch of houses. If your agent is giving you flack and saying, hey, I don't want to show you any more houses, you have to wonder why. And let me just put it to you the way that I do. Like if I have, when I have a buyer, I don't need to create a sense of urgency. I mean, if they've already gotten a pre-approval, if they're already calling me about houses, and if we're going out there and looking at houses and they give me every indication that they want to buy a house, we have no problems. I don't care how long it takes to find the right house. I don't care how many houses we have to see. Now, if a buyer is hesitant to even go look at houses, when they do go look at houses, they have no interest in making an offer ever, then I start to wonder, what are we doing here? Like, is it a tour guide? I can't just, you have to have some interest in making a purchase. And as long as I feel like you're going to do that, we'll keep looking at houses. I can count on my hand the number. I fired one buyer one time because they were really drugged up. And what they were saying wasn't making any sense. Like they were nuts. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't in good conscience work with this person because it was just they were just terrible. But that's the only person I've ever fired. And the only reason why I just could not do it. Internally, I could not do it. So anyway, as long as you're showing some motivation to go look at houses, be part of the game, listen to what I have to say, and writing offers, the fact that we don't get a house is no big deal. That happens. But it's so you're never wasting your agent's time when you're going to look at a house and you're interested in the house, but when you get there, you find something that you don't like. You're wasting your agent's time if you're just looking at a house because it's something to do on a Saturday afternoon. That's wasting your agent's time. If you have no intention of buying and you're just dragging your agent around, that's wasting their time. So just keep that in mind. I'm happy to show houses, and as a buyer, you should never feel that you are you should have known something or you could have known something when it's not been presented to you by the agent. It's not been presented on any of the disclosures or anything like that. These buyers could not have known how bad the basement was until they went and took a look at it. Okay. Or unless there were pictures online. And how often have you ever seen an agent, if there's a house with basement issues, take a picture of the basement issues? It's much better to get people over there because on the listing side, it makes it look like, you're doing your job. You're getting people over to the house. So anyway, was it disappointing for them? I guess. Is it part of managing home buyers' expectations? Sure. But we did what we could do. We tried. We made an effort. So my question to you, chat, whenever you end up chatting with me. Or my question to you, if you end up watching this down the road on a replay, what should I have done with my buyers? Should I have told them, oh no, we can't go look at this house? Should I have told them nothing? Or just send this seller's disclosure and say, I haven't read this. I don't know anything about it. Should I have acted surprised when I saw, oh my God? What should I have done? I thought I played it the right way. And you might be surprised to learn that there's buyers out there that believe that you're withholding listings from them, or that you don't want them to see the right house. Like you're hiding the perfect house for them. It's a very odd thing. Like to me, like I don't understand it. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? It doesn't make any sense to me, but they do. They think that there's this magic house out there that I know about that I'm not showing them. And so if I tell my buyers this is a no, the flat no, then that feeds into that belief. If I tell my buyers, here's the issues with the house, I'm happy to show it. To me, that's the best way to do it. What if they would have gone in the house and there was one crack? You know, people think differently. That's one of the problems with disclosures. Like what you think is a problem and what somebody else thinks are a problem are probably two different things. And as in the basement, as an example, if you're an older person living during World War II, okay, and living in one of those houses since 1945, 1950, okay, and now this is the first time the house has gone up for sale, and there was a little bit of water in the corner of the basement when you moved in 80 years ago, you probably don't, when you disclose something, you'll say there might be a little bit of water in the basement on, when it rains. That might be true. Now, and you may not have been in the basement. You might be an older person. You may not have been in the basement for the past 10 years. You may have had a washing machine and dryer put upstairs. You may never go downstairs. So if it got worse, how are you going to disclose that? You're not. You don't even know. You haven't even been in the basement. So, a new home buyer, brand new home buyer, first time home buyer goes to a house and sees water in the corner of the basement and no context. Like, what in the world? What in the world? That's the other thing is when you have first time home buyers who are like, hey, I've got this money. We're going to go out and we're going to buy this house. I'm only going to spend $150,000. I don't care that everybody else in the world is spending like $400,000 on average for us. We're going to buy a house for $150,000, and that's just going to be the way it is. And then they go, and then it's like, these houses are terrible. What are we going to do? It's just part of the business. Just dealing with people, dealing with buyers, working with their expectations, and getting it within a frame of reference for you, so that you can do your job. It's important. I am blown away by two things. One, buyers that, there's a couple things. I'm blown away by a couple things. One, there are buyers out there that feel like they know more than the real estate agent that does it every day, and that they're going to find this deal. Those people scare me because, like, if you're not doing this every day, you're going to get taken. There's people out there that think that buyer's agents are not necessary. So it's like, we'll get one, but it's like, we didn't really need one. That's kind of scary because if you're not listening to your buyer's agent, that's not good. And then you have agents that are terrible. I can't tell you how many agents will go to that house and with that terrible basement issue and say, oh, this is fine. It's been repaired. Oh, this is totally good. You should buy this house. In fact, not only should you buy it, you should pay you should write an offer $67,000 more than asking because of the market. Like, I don't know how you do that. Like, here's my test for everything. Would I live in the house that my buyers buy? Like, if I bought that house, would I feel comfortable with my decision? That's a high bar, by the way. That's a high bar. It's probably not the right bar for a real estate agent. It should be much lower. Like, is the person breathing? Like that's that's what you should do. I mean, but for me, it's just so important that my buyers get knowledge. I don't know if you remember, but I was talking about the one buyer recently. He told me when we first met, he's like, okay, I made a mistake. All right, I bought a fix and flip on a slab. And I was like, oh, all right. He's like, but I learned from my mistakes, and I'm going to go, this time we're going to go buy a house that's not like that. And I said, oh, well, that's nice. And so anyway, we were getting through his financing, stuff like that. So he gave me the address. So I decided to go take a look at the house online, just online. What can I see from this house that would have helped me not have this buyer buy this horrible junk? Well, first of all, they were asking when he bought it, I believe $115,000, between $115,000 and $120,000. And I saw the previous purchase, was maybe a month before, 2 months before, for $25,000. And if you think that someone didn't make money between $25,000 and $115,000, come on, seriously. And then what they did, they changed out the siding, but they didn't really fix the siding underneath it. They just put new siding over the house. And you could see this from the previous sale. Now, he had a high volume agent as his buyer's agent. I suspect that the buyer's agent was like, sure, go buy this house. It's great. And I also know who that agent is. And so they are of the turn and burn strategy. That is, they can advertise and get more buyers and more sellers by advertising than they can by referrals. And so they have no problem turning and burning them. And essentially, one and done. Like, we're going to do this transaction and that's it. I don't want these clients for life. I don't care. I'm not going to be around. I'm going to make so much money that I'll be gone. And I'll always be getting new clients because my marketing, I pay a significant amount of money for my marketing, and that's just going to be the way it is. And that's exactly what happened here. Now on that house, I probably would have told, like, it's very interesting when you have first time buyers, or if we have buyers that haven't been in the marketplace in a long time. What'll happen is this: they'll say, this house looks nice. I'll say, it's a fix and flip. They're like, so what? So they go look at it because they see the pretty pictures and everything. It's priced maybe $20,000, $30,000 more than any other house in the neighborhood. And there's a reason why it's a fix and flip. That means that there was something about that house that the owner didn't feel like it was even worth fixing. Like, they were just done with it. They'd put their money in and they wanted to get out. But so I say it's a fix and flip. When I say it's a fix and flip, that's not a positive. That's you better be really careful with what we're dealing with now on the fix and flip. But anyway, some people learn, some people don't. Some people will always go after the fix and flip. That'll be the first place. Now, my strategy to you, top tip for Saturday: if you're going to buy a fix and flip, be the second owner of the fix and flip. The first owner is the one that's going to have to do all the repairs that the contractor didn't fix originally. He may have thought he fixed, he may have done cosmetic repairs, but he's going to be the one that deals with all that. That first owner. You want to be the second owner, because now all those things are fixed and there's a history in the property and a disclosure. Be the second owner on a fix and flip. Never be the first owner on a fix and flip. You just don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's going to be a mess. So that's my top tip for today. Anyway, let's get going. I'm glad I had something to talk about. I'm not gonna stream tomorrow, so don't look for me tomorrow. But I'll be back on Monday. Okay. I've just decided that I got to take some time off from the digitals, because daily is tough. 6 hours a week. Well, I do the other live streams, so 12 hours a week plus show prep. No payment. I get no money for it. You say, well, you get notoriety for it. I've got 10 subscribers on my live stream, so I wouldn't say that that's really the case. So anyway, let's get to some of the stuff. Here we go. Let's first go to a Google Trends article. I thought this was fascinating, and I want to share it. This had 100,000 searches. Do you remember Boris Becker? Oh man, Boris Becker was awesome. Oh, and I can see my shirt's going to give you some trouble today. I'm sorry. I hope it does better on the the actual video than it's doing for me right now, because it looks terrible. Anyway, let's look at Boris Becker and his situation. Wimbledon champion Boris Becker gets 2.5 years in prison for bankruptcy offenses. How can Boris Becker, one of the greatest, tennis players of the mid 90s or mid 80s, get 2.5 years in prison for bankruptcy? What could he have possibly done? This is in London. This is the headline in London. Tennis great Boris Becker was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison on Friday for illicitly transferring large amounts of money and hiding assets after he was declared bankrupt. Now, the 3-time Wimbledon champion was convicted earlier this month on 4 charges under the Insolvency Act and had faced a maximum sentence of 7 years in prison. Judge Deborah Taylor announced the sentence after hearing arguments from both the prosecutor and Becker's attorney. The 54-year-old German was found to have transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars after his June 17th bankruptcy from his business account to other accounts, including those of his ex-wife Barbara and estranged wife Charlie Lily Becker. Becker was also convicted of failing to declare a property in Germany and hiding an $825,000 euro bank loan and shares in a tech firm. The jury at Southwark Crown Court in London acquitted him on 20 other counts, including charges he failed to hand over his many awards, including 2 Wimbledon trophies and an Olympic gold medal. Becker, wearing a striped tie in Wimbledon's purple and green colors, walked into the courthouse hand in hand with girlfriend Lilian de Carvalho Monteiro. So ex-wife, estranged wife, girlfriend. The 6-time Grand Slam champion has denied all charges, saying he had cooperated with trustees tasked with securing his assets, even offering up his wedding ring, and had acted on expert advice. Now, come on. So what if you offered up your wedding ring? You already got 2 wives, and it's not really, not my place, but I mean, seriously. At Friday's sentencing hearing, prosecutor Rebecca Chalkley said Becker had acted deliberately and dishonestly and that he was still seeking to blame others. Defense attorney Jonathan Laidlaw argued for leniency, saying his client hadn't spent money on a lavish lifestyle, but rather on child support, rent, and legal and business expenses. Becker, he told the court, has experienced public humiliation and has no future earnings potential. Becker's bankruptcy stemmed from a $4.6 million euro loan from a private bank in 2013, as well as about $1.6 million borrowed from a British businessman the year after, according to testimony at the trial. During the trial, Becker and his $50 million career earnings had been swallowed up by payments for an expensive divorce and debts when he lost large chunks of his income after retirement. Becker rose to stardom in 1985 at the age of 17, when he became the first unseeded player to win the Wimbledon singles title, and later rose to the number 1 ranking. He has lived in Britain since 2012. Boris Becker. When I look at this picture, I just see sadness. I just see sadness. I mean, when he played, I remember when he played. I mean, really, it's a different game. I get it. But man, he couldn't make it on $50 million in the rest of his life. Like, he couldn't make it. Can you believe that? I mean, seriously. Like, it's sad. It's sad. Some people go through life. Not only will they not see $50 million, they're not going to say $1 million in their lifetime. And this guy, it's just sad. And it's like, what are you going to do? Like, when you're like the athletes, it's always sad. We've got some, I think it was Darius Miles. We have people in St. Louis that were really, really good basketball players, really, really good athletic people, and they were, drafted and made all kinds of money, and it didn't work out. What was it? Larry Hughes. I mean, you're only an athlete for so long, and so I'm sensitive to when athletes hold out for more money, because I mean, that's all they did all their lives. Most of them, they're not going to be rocket scientists or doctors or lawyers. I mean, they played sports the whole time, and they were rewarded handsomely for it. But, you know, I mean, you can just see here that $50 million, it didn't work out. Sad, depressing, but we must continue. We must go on. Let's look at the next article. And it's not an article. I'm sorry about that. It's just over Deerwood Realty. It's the mortgage rate tracker. 30-year fixed rise just 1 basis point, 5.41% over 5.40%. You know, would I like rates to be a little lower? Yes and no. Yes, because it would be better for my buyers. No, because sellers are asking for a fortune. And I just don't see where it's going to work out. I don't see how it's going to work out without, I don't know how to say this. It's already getting out of hand. All right, so we're going to go there. Have you ever been to Oklahoma City? I have been through Oklahoma City. I have some relatives that live in El Reno, Oklahoma. That's outside of Oklahoma City. God only knows if it's all built up between there. And I got to get down there soon. So anyway, the first couple of houses have been on the market for, I would say years cumulatively. So I'm not real interested. That one's a vacant lot. Let's look at this one here. We're going to look at this one here. We're going to look at this one and this one. This one is also in a weird, see, it's on an interchange. So it's like, I think it's more valuable for the land than the house. So here we go. 2.9 million. This will be our first one. This is, been on the market 100 days. It's a 4-bedroom, 6.5 bath, 9,600 square foot house on a about 3/4 acre lot. For sale, 2.9 million. Now I've seen this design of this type of home even in St. Louis, where you have the little bridge thing, the little passageway to park, which I kind of like. It's got a 4-car garage. I do like that. The property details or the property history. I mean, you can see it's been on there for a while. I just haven't looked at it, so I thought we'd look at it. It says, stunning design and impressive updates. Master wing includes an office and workout room, exceptional master bedroom, and his and hers dressing areas. The other side has a bed and bath down, full remodel sitting area, day bed plus usual bedroom furnishings, complete with a large connecting bath and walk-in closet. The remodeled media room has a full bath access across the hall, so it could be a 5th bedroom when needed. The full bath mentioned is the Cabana Bath 2. Upstairs are 2 full bedrooms and bathrooms completely remodeled, along with the upstairs hangout room. I've never seen a hangout room. These spaces are superb in design. Although the house is spacious, each area is cozy in feel. The kitchen has lots of storage and is open to the family area, full-size freezer and refrigerator and 2 dishwashers, remodeled laundry area, space for 2 sets of washers and dryers and full-size refrigerator, lots of storage and workroom. The curb appeal is undeniable and catches the eye. Captivating landscape lighting. Well, all right. Not the best description ever. Kind of Hoosier with the trampoline. Just saying. So we're inside. There's the stairs. I mean, it's a nice sized kitchen. No issues. I don't even know what that is. Now we're in the basement. The hangout room. I'm looking for that one. Nice size bedroom. $2.9 million for this. I don't know what to say about this. Somehow the pictures are wrong or something. Like, I'm just going to try and give you an example. See how you don't see a ceiling and you don't see a floor? It's only like on a human, it's only like the right below the neck and right above the waist. Like that's every single picture. And you say, well, did they get professional photographs? I'm sure. I mean, I would hope so on a $2.9 million listing. The outdoor space is important, but this outdoor space isn't being shown very well. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that the house is overpriced, and I'm gonna guess that the listing photos aren't great. I'm just checking on some things. Okay, so that was a house. Not this one. Let's look at this one. $2.65 million. What we got here? 210 days on the market. Looks like it's off of a golf course. 3-car garage. 3/4 of an acre lot. Again, now, like, just let's look at here. I mean, you see a theme? I mean, they're taking pictures of the house like this. You know, where it, like, how do you explain it? Like an aerial view. You have to say that might even be a trend here because 2 of the houses are like that. But anyway, let's look at this. 33 pictures. Is there anything that property history? It was just listed in 2021, so it's not been like forever. Property details. Cool California contemporary home. Window walls overlooking the 8th fairway, pool, cabana, and outdoor living. Sought after single level home. Kitchen with top of the line appliances. Spacious master suite with sitting area, theater room and exercise room, study, library with ample built-in bookcases, whole house water filtration system and softener, tons of storage, a 3-car garage, and a golf cart bay with special flooring. Okay, let's look. I kind of like the elevation. I mean, those flower boxes are beautiful. I mean, I think they are beautiful. I'm not criticizing. Look at that. And I like, where the 4th picture. So did I like this picture? No. To start, this is the right picture, and this is the right picture, and this is the right picture. Although I like to go from here the other direction. There, that's what I like. Now I'm coming into the house. Now, when I see this, I see that there's the pool and there's the outdoor space there. There's a little built-in here. There's going to be a room over here on the left, and the living room is going to be right in front of me. But at least I'm getting an idea of where we are in the house. So there should be the center living area. And if you look behind you from this picture, it should be the hallway that you walk in from. Okay. Nothing leads me to believe that that's a wrong assumption. There, now you know that on the left-hand side, there's going to be this space here. There's going to be 2 rooms there. That looks like it's going to be the kitchen. And so that's just another picture there. No big deal. I'm kind of like, I've seen 3 pictures of this, 4 pictures of this. But I mean, again, I see the kitchen and I see this room there. So when I go to it, I'll know what that is. There's the kitchen. Now, we saw this plate in the one picture, and we had a good reason to believe that there was going to be some room here. And there was. There's your kitchen. Okay. And then you can see, that because there's the green chair. There's the door for the house is going to be that way. Pay attention to this. We saw this in the picture. We didn't know for sure what it was, but we saw the top of this in a picture before. So we know now that it's like a kind of like a little dining area. Now we're in a bathroom. Okay. Now we're in the bedrooms, and that's fine too. It's hard to convey, like on an ensuite, on a bathroom. It's kind of hard to tell you that that's it unless you see one certain picture. So no complaints. This looks like looks like we're in the basement. I don't know if we are. Now we're upstairs. Now it gets a little dicey, because now I have no idea. Now I'm getting all turned around. There's your laundry room. Now it can't be dicey. It's not surprising. This is a laundry room. At least we know what it is. And it looks like they have another refrigerator in the laundry rooms. That's cool. There's an office, bedroom. I don't know that I like this picture of the bedroom. I think this is a different way to look at the bed. Should be right here. Who knows? We got a nice bathroom. I personally never take baths, so this doesn't do anything for me. But if you, I mean, there's the shower. It's huge. And then your garage with your Mercedes and your pool. So 33 pictures. I don't know. What do you think? I kind of like the house. And then, like, you have to ask the question: do you like this house for $2,650,000 that's only 5,000 square feet, or do you like the house that's 9,700 square feet? I really liked. I thought this house was presented better. It's in the same zip code. Let's look at one more. I'm gonna hit that button there. Oh man, what a mess. Oh, I thought it went to the other page. So anyway, here we go. 2.5 million, 5-bedroom, 5.5 baths, 7,400 square feet on a half-acre lot. 45 days on the market with a 4-car garage built in 2008. So the other house was also built in 2008. The one we just looked at, I believe. Of course, the minute that I say it, it would be wrong. Just listed in March. So that's not bad. Stately design with a light and bright transitional decor, updated interior with fresh paint and fixtures, quality construction, and a very functional floor plan. 2 bedrooms downstairs with 3 up, all king size, ensuite and walk-in closets. That's good to know. That's good information. Very informational. Most every room has a large window that captures the view of the pool from the back and a peaceful water view from the front. The master suite offers separate his and her bath and large walk-in closets. A great size office with a fireplace and lake view is also on the lower level. Upstairs, you have a designated theater room, separate area for a pool table, and a large flex space for a toy or exercise room, along with the other 3 beds and 1 bath. The backyard has total privacy with a solid masonry fence, heated saltwater pool spa, and an awesome outdoor living with fireplace and separate grilling station. A 2-car, which I'm guessing is car, attached garage with a walk-in safe room and a separate 2-car detached. This one should check all your boxes, so don't miss it. That's trying to convey a sense of urgency. I know what she's doing. I say her because it's Rhonda Bratton with Rhonda Bratton Homes. 2.5 million. So very, very nice room there. You know me. So what would I tell you? The first picture should be the front of the house, like right straight looking at it. The second picture should be of the front door. The third picture should be of the room after the door. That's not how it is here. Now I don't know what I'm looking at. I have no idea where I am in the house. Did you notice we haven't seen floor plans? We didn't see 2 so far on the 2 houses we looked at. That's kind of interesting. I've never liked these rooms. I think they're stupid. Look at how much space there isn't. And you're supposed to work there. I hope those go away, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, that's a design trend that I didn't need. This was built in 2008. Do better. A lot of bathrooms here is all I'm seeing. Like, there's a nice theater room. What is this up here on the left? Like a little lamp on a tripod? Okay. So there's the pool table and there's the theater room. I'm just pointing it out to you because I'm trying to figure it out myself. There's a room with, it's going to be hot, basically. There's your water views. There's houses built around the water. There's your outdoor space. Love the outdoor space. Just so much. That's an interesting sized pool. Interesting house. Interesting house. Interesting photos. I don't know. I'm going to do something. I'm going to put it here. Now, watch me screw this up. I've done it before. Okay. I've screwed this up before. I'm going to show you. I made a meme yesterday and I wanted to share it with you. And it took me until now to remember that I did it. So Now, you ready? Look, I don't have a lot of people that follow me on Twitter. I just put it up there because it was fun for me, but I wanted you to see it. Can you see it? It says, oh goodness, come on. Here we go. It says, let's see if it's kind of big. Hopefully you can see it. So it's the meme. It says, someday I'll have a good job and great credit. And then he says, yes, you will. And then he says, that won't be enough to afford a house. I thought that was funny. I made that myself. I did it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that quick thing for you because houses are expensive. That's all I'm going to say. So here we go. You ready for this? This is the first article for the day. It's from Redfin. A record share of home buyers are relocating as skyrocketing housing costs make affordable areas even more attractive. So there are affordable areas somewhere, would be my question. Where? Let me check one more thing before I get too excited. Okay. Oh, nice. Nice. I just got a bonus nice. Oh man. I had a good thing happen. I can't tell you about it because it's a real estate deal, but great. Okay. Nearly 1/3 of Redfin.com users look to move away from their hometown in the first quarter, an all-time high. The number of homebuyers leaving Seattle has increased sixfold since before the pandemic, largely due to remote work and soaring home prices. One factor in the early signs we're seeing of a housing market slowdown in Seattle and other pricey coastal metros. Can't possibly be that there's other things going on in Seattle, right? It must just be the remote work and soaring home prices. The number of home buyers moving into Miami, the most popular migration destination, has risen just as quickly. I mean, we're seeing historic, every day's history, okay, but we're seeing historic trends and patterns taking place that are going to cause issues for years to come. I don't even know if you'll be able to move. At some point in time, everyone will live in Florida if this keeps up like it is. I don't want to move to Florida, but my God. A record 32% of Redfin users nationwide look to move to a different metro area in the first quarter. That's up from 31.5% a year ago and significantly from 26% in 2019 before the pandemic. Skyrocketing home prices and rising mortgage rates have made relocating to a more affordable area the only viable option for some prospective home buyers. That could be true. Says home buyers are leaving Seattle at a much faster rate than before the pandemic. The number of home buyers leaving the Seattle area has picked up significantly over the past 2 years, an apt example of how the pandemic is changing where people choose to live. The typical home in Seattle sold for $750,000 in February, up from 15% year over year, making it the 8th most expensive metro area in the U.S. behind only coastal California. Oh, that means like all the places on California. Those soaring home prices, combined with a high concentration of tech jobs, which can typically be done remotely, have encouraged many Seattleites to seek more affordable, sunnier pastures. At the same time, would-be homebuyers leaving Seattle is one reason why its housing market is showing early signs of cooling, with a slowdown in the number of buyers contacting Redfin agents in 2022 compared to last year and a year-over-year decline in mortgage applications. Is it possible that perhaps they're just not calling Redfin agents because they don't like Redfin? Maybe they're calling other agents? I'm just saying. I'm not criticizing Redfin here. I'm just asking. Just because they don't show up on your site, does that mean that they won't show up somewhere else? Seattle had a net outflow of nearly 24,000 residents in the first quarter, up from about 10,000 a year earlier and about 4,000 2 years earlier before the pandemic began. Net outflow is a measure of how many more Redfin.com users look to leave an area than move in. Not good. Phoenix is the number one destination for Redfin.com users leaving Seattle. While Phoenix home prices are up significantly from a year ago, the $456,000 median is still far lower than Seattle's. I've worked with many home sellers recently who are moving to a completely new area, said Seattle Redfin agent Nicole McCormick. A lot of them are remote workers or people who feel confidently they'll be able to get a new job, leaving for sunnier places where they can get more home for their money, like Phoenix or Sacramento. There's also a pattern of selling and moving to the San Juan Islands, located just a few hours away from Seattle. Those people are trading the city for a more rural, outdoorsy lifestyle, but homes are just as expensive. Seattle had the 5th largest outflow of any U.S. major metro in the first quarter, behind 4 other expensive coastal job centers: the Bay Area, Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. Is it really that reason? Expensive coastal job centers? Could it be that there's other reasons why people are moving out of those places? I'm just asking. I mean, some of it fits, like Boston fits, sort of. Sort of. People moving out of Denver, that's hard to believe. Denver's beautiful. I can understand many of these places. I can understand. Nearly 6 times more homebuyers looked to move to Miami in the first quarter than before the pandemic. Miami was the most popular migration destination in the first quarter and changed from the second half of 2021. Popularity is measured by net inflow, or how many more Redfin.com users look to move to an area than to leave. Phoenix, Tampa, Sacramento, and Las Vegas round out the top 5 most popular migration destinations. Kind of interesting about Las Vegas. I kind of thought they had kind of plateaued. Sunny, relatively affordable areas are typically the most popular places for people to move to. A trend that has picked up with the pandemic. Net inflow to all 5 of the most popular destinations has increased significantly since just before the pandemic. The number of residents flowing into Miami in the first quarter was up nearly 6-fold from 2 years earlier, and it has almost tripled in Tampa and almost doubled in Sacramento. I don't know. Good stuff. Good stuff. I think that's fascinating. I would not have known anything about Seattle had that not been in the article. Okay, one more. 2022 home sellers. These 2022 home sellers report the experiences of recent home sellers. Now, I don't really think I'm going to go through. I mean, look at the size of this article, and I'm not real interested in it. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to put the link in my description, and I'm going to leave it at that. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I am not going through this whole thing. We're going to look at the highlights, and then we're going to jet, because I'm going to go eat some breakfast or some lunch, and that's all there is to it. So for the experience of recent home sellers, over half of home sellers spent less than a month preparing a home for listing. I believe that. Almost 60% of homeowners repaired or updated their home in preparation for a sale. Well, I mean, that's like, look, is that painting? 2/3 of homeowners cleaned and decluttered before listing. A majority of homeowners considered 1 or 2 real estate agents before choosing. That's not been my experience. Most of them are just like, I know this person from something and I'm going to choose them. 80% of homeowners sold at or above their original asking price. I'm surprised it's that low, to be honest with you. Recent sellers benefited from competitive markets this past year. There's no question. Of 2022's homeowners planning to sell, 64% of homeowners are planning to sell this year have sold a home before. 2/3 of homeowners planning to sell in 2022 are likely to list by August. Good Lord. 43% of homeowners planning to sell in 22 expected prices of $350,000 and below. Changing family needs and favorable market conditions, top reasons to sell in 2022. I think that's fair. I think that's all that is fair. I don't really want to get into it much more than that. It's a huge report. I encourage you to take a look at it at the link that I have in the description. What did we learn today? Well, I made a meme. I think that's the most important thing. How can anything be more important than that? We learned that Oklahoma City has some nice houses. Typically not more than 50 pictures on a listing, which I like, and the listing descriptions are short. That's what we learned about that. We learned that We learned that, managing buyers' expectations is very important as a real estate agent. I knew that, and I'm trying to express that to you. We learned that there's like housing migration patterns, especially from places like Seattle, and that Miami seems to be a place that's attracting people to Florida. That's what we learned. With that, I think I'm going to head on out. I'm going to try and do a bunch of editing and stuff like that, and like I said, get out of here at about noon today. Thank you for watching. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be here on Monday. If you could do me a favor, if you've made it this far into the video, would you please click the subscribe button? I would really like to have at least 50 subscribers on my live stream channel. You don't have to watch the videos every day, but man, it would really do me a lot of good if I could just get 50 subscribers. 50. When I get to 50, I'll look for a different number, but my goal right now is 50 subscribers. So with that, I'm going to head out. Thank you for watching.